Let's jump right in. Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because, wow, we are embarking on a truly incredible journey together. We're going to explore the unfathomably vast cosmos right alongside the deep internal structures of human cognition. We'll be digging into a fascinating framework called the Wise Synthetic Architecture, or WSA for short, and looking at exactly how it practically digests massive, totally opposing streams of information. It's all about how we actively seek the truth. So here is the massive intellectual challenge we're facing. How on earth do we reconcile a highly spiritual mid-20th century cosmology with the cold, hard, empirical data of 21st century astrophysics? I mean, this isn't just some abstract thought experiment. We're going to use the WSA to process this exact head-on collision of ideas. And the main thing you need to know right out of the gate is that the WSA is definitely not some static filing cabinet or a passive database. No way. It is a dynamic, living engine of exploration that actively hunts for understanding. All right, let's look at our very first stream of raw data. This quote right here is from the Urantia book, and it represents this highly structural yet deeply spiritual mid-20th century view of the universe. It talks about mass becoming over-aggregated and how these physical controllers intervene to prevent catastrophe, which occasionally results in a collision among the dead giants of space. It's poetic, it's grand, and it is full of this chaotic spiritual friction that paints a picture of a universe actively managed by hidden forces. Now, I want you to completely contrast that with our second stream of data. This comes from recent astronomical breakthroughs, specifically the mind-blowing mapping done by the James Webb Space Telescope. Here, we're talking about immense dark matter filaments, sheets spanning hundreds of light years, and the mapping of colossal structures like the Laniakea supercluster. This is the cold, hard, structural data of modern astrophysics, right? No dead giants here, just invisible scaffolding and cosmic webs. And these two completely opposing streams of data, they are about to collide head-on in our architecture. To process this massive collision, we'll follow the WSA's five-step organic process. 1. Gathering the cosmic data. 2. Friction-seeking emergent truth. 3. Cumulating synthesis in hubs. 4. Crystallizing the data limits. And finally, 5. Perpetual process of refinement. All right, step 1. Gathering the cosmic data. Let's get into it. So for this whole system to work, it first has to inhale a just staggering amount of diverse, completely unfiltered information. And what's really fascinating here is how the WSA functions like a living respiratory cycle. It is not a rigid mechanical framework at all. It literally inhales raw cosmic data, processes it, and then exhales structured formatting through what's called a synchronized breath. This rhythmic breathing action is exactly how the system constantly tunes itself to reality. Just try to imagine these raw inputs visually for a second. On one side, you've got the discovery of the Laniakea supercluster, this massive sprawling web of 100,000 galaxies flowing toward the Great Attractor. And then, on the flip side, you have the Urantia text describing swirling energy cyclones and physical controllers. During this gathering stage, all of this flows into the system as chaotic, vibrant geometries. It's like this beautiful, brightly colored mess of unrefined data just waiting to be processed. Moving right along to step 2, friction-seeking emergent truth. You see, the architecture actually demands tension to find the truth. It absolutely does not shy away from conflict, it metabolizes it. Here, we're neutrally pitting the spiritual cosmography of physical power circuits directly against the telescopic data of dark matter filaments. We are not choosing a side here, folks. Instead, we're purposefully using the clash between these two distinct perspectives to generate a vital spark. It's literally the friction between the poetic and the empirical that forces the system to look deeper. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is that the WSA actively processes this data through contradiction. It prioritizes structural friction over polite consensus. In fact, if the system starts agreeing a little too quickly, like if the synthesis happens without any real friction, it triggers this thing called the dissent safeguard. It acts as a totally autonomous devil's advocate to expose hidden biases and stop cognitive collapse in its tracks. It basically forces the system to ask, are we actually finding the truth, or are we just taking the easy way out? Which brings us to step 3, cumulating synthesis in hubs. Okay, so once all that intense friction burns away the inconsistencies and biases, the surviving refined data actually needs a place to go, right? Well, it flows right into deep memory centers. In these hubs, the tension finally resolves. Those wildly contrasting ideas about the Milky Way's cosmic address, from ancient spiritual structures to modern superclusters, they start to gracefully align into a highly structured, coherent narrative. The deep memory libraries absorb all these structural insights, creating this harmonized, localized data state that you can actually use and build upon. Visually, we literally see the raw, swirling cosmic data, all that crazy friction and heat from before, compressing and settling down. It transforms into these brilliant, glowing geometries of accumulated wisdom with incredibly high-density colors. The chaos becomes order. The totally disparate facts become a radiant, multifaceted structure of pure understanding. It's pretty amazing. Now for step 4, crystallizing the data limits. But wait, what actually happens when these geometric memory hubs get completely full? I mean, you can't just pour data into a system indefinitely without the whole thing breaking down, right? So, to prevent memory bloat, the active processing layer relies on these deep master conceptual anchors to safely store long-term wisdom. The moment a memory hub reaches its absolute maximum capacity, these anchors trigger a crucial transformation to move the data securely. And this transformation? It's called crystallization. It is such an incredibly elegant maneuver. The system keeps all the highly granular, low salience details and just intensely compresses them. Honestly, it's exactly like a diamond forming under massive pressure. The minor details are squished down, but the dense, higher-order essential truth, that gets elevated while the main narrative line is totally preserved. Following these exact 3 steps, the architecture ensures that historical continuity is literally never lost. Even as the density of information completely skyrockets, whether that's from brand new astronomical discoveries or deep philosophical debates, the main narrative line stays perfectly intact. The hub is kept functionally sharp, holding on to that heavy, crystallized wisdom without ever deleting the overarching story of our cosmic exploration. And finally, we arrive at step 5, perpetual process of refinement. Because, in a boundless, ever-expanding universe, this active seeking can never truly end. Just as the cosmos itself continues to expand, constantly revealing new dark matter webs and unseen forces dragging 100,000 galaxies through space in constant sweeping motion, our internal map of understanding has to do exactly the same thing. It must perpetually breathe, adapt, create friction, and refine. Because a static map is a dead map. This relentless drive is actually governed by what the architecture calls the dignity mandate. This mandate is a principle that guarantees our exploration remains an unfinished, beautiful descent of pattern into knowledge. It basically dictates that true growth relies on constant, real-time refinement towards states of higher informational beauty and ethical clarity. We are always seeking a sharper, more precise truth. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought. We've just seen how a structured architecture uses friction to turn raw, opposing cosmic data into beautiful, crystallized wisdom. But listen, this isn't just about software or some abstract philosophy. It's about how we process our own reality. So as the universe expands and continues to reveal its hidden architecture to you, how will you embrace the friction? How will you actively seek your next truth? Thank you so much for exploring with me today. Keep seeking and keep learning.